Otakus, and welcome back to my channel. I would put on my glasses, but I can't with this little one right here. You did right. Of course, gonna go back to biting me when you know not to. Today we are going to be reading some South Park conspiracy theories. I found a few other ones. I found 4 different other ones. They look interesting. Some of them are very short, so I might read 2 and 1, just depending on to make it long enough. Also, happy 2020. If I said that in other videos that I've made before, but I'm saying this again, happy 2020. I'm already seeing scary stuff on Facebook that World War III is gonna happen, Iraq is gonna kill us, and some bushfires in some country, Australia, I think, or not Australia, something like that, and plagues. So obviously my 2020 is not going super. Doing my best, I guess, but Facebook is a scary place now, and I really should stay off it. Stop scrolling through it, because it's not going to help my paranoia. Anyways, I've been watching a lot of South Park recently. I've been working on a lot of stories of South Park, which are on my WATTPAD. One of them is on my WATTPAD that I'm working on, so if you want to go check that out, you can. Speaking of which, you probably update it. Today, this one is a very short one, and I think we might read... No, that's 5 Nights at Freddy's. Hold on, let me... There we go. So there's 2 conspiracy theories right here. There's 2 conspiracy theories right here that's titled South Park The Lost Episode, but they're put in a different way, so I'm gonna read both of them. They're fairly short. I'm gonna read both of them, and then we'll see what else there is, and then the rest should be good enough for in a video. If not, we'll find something else. Okay. So this is called South Park The Lost Episode. Have you ever heard of the Comedy Central classic South Park with the all greatest seasons and funniest episodes? Well, I heard that there was an unreleased one which was disturbing by the reasons of characters acting oddly and the music sounding different, and I'll tell you about it. The episode starts with Eric Cartman crying in a corner of his classroom at night. It was disturbingly odd because the time at his school is usually at daytime. His crying sounded more human-like in this part of the episode. Took about 4 minutes. After that, it cut to a scene where Butters and Stan were staring outside a window. They were so worried about Cartman. Butters asked Stan where he is, and Stan said he might be at the school. So he had Butters went to look for him, along with Kyle, Kenny, and Jimmy, and they eventually arrived at South Park Elementary. They stopped by a familiar figure. It was Gregory, the guy who was forgotten by Stan's dream girl, Wendy. Gregory took a blade off his knife, but his voice sounded more adult-like and not like a cartoon character at all. He went to stab Kenny on the back, causing the blood to flow all over South Park. Kyle shouted, "Oh my God, he killed Kenny!" Stan gave an angry look at Gregory and said, "You bastard!" The fight with Gregory went on for about 7 minutes, which means I realized the episode took about 40 minutes. I knew that the most episodes took about 22, but this one took longer. The weird thing is, Gregory was actually succeeding in killing Stan, Jimmy, Butters, and Kyle, made it inside the school to look for Cartman. Gregory was actually... Right after the kids went to look for Cartman, the episode went static, and I found hidden messages. The reason the next hidden image was of a dead child on a road. The child's guts were strapped to tree branches, and organic stomach juice was spilled to the concrete. Then it went back to the episode and ended. They saw Cartman hanging on a rope. This meant Cartman committed suicide. Then the screen faded to black. I could not believe what I just saw. A day later, I got a message on an unknown person. The message said, "He comes." I suddenly knew who the message was from. I love South Park so much, but that shit is freaky. This reminds me of Squidward's suicide, because it's like, it had like more human, like eerie screams and like faces and a child with fucking dead children. It's how do people come up with this? like, this is the thing about conspiracy theories, is that you don't know whether or not what to believe or if it's true or not, but that shit is freaky. I'm gonna take a quick pause because I have to go to the bathroom, so bear with me. Okay, we're back. Yeah, this is also like this one also says South Park Lost Episode, but it's different and a little bit longer, so I think it's also more descriptive. I was off shrinking my responsibilities and staying up late an early Friday morning around 4 a.m. While procrastinating on my college work, bum all of that, all my friends went to bed and I wasn't in the mood to play any games, so I turned on my TV to see any channels are on. When I was channel surfing to Adult Swim for reruns, my eyes immediately caught on Comedy Central playing the South Park opening sequence. Normally, Comedy Central plays an infomercial at a time, but I was too delighted to notice or even care. It was an earlier opening with the banjo player during the part where Kenny mumbles his lines. I just realized the quality of the video graphics was poor and unstable, even for South Park standards. It was as if someone recorded via VHS, but little did I know the weirder things were about to happen. Usually the episode starts right after the theme song where Ike or Mr. Hanky flies on a South Park sign, but this time static suddenly erupted and stayed there a bit longer than usual until the actual episode showed up. The actual episode started without any music at all, simply showed Kenny walking the streets of South Park, but it wasn't a classic hopping or skipping walk that the show is famous for, but an actual walking animation. There was no sound either and no sign of other boys in the background, or any background characters for that matter, as Kenny silently walked in a loop like out of a Flintstones cartoon. In the loop, classics were shown like Tom's Rhinoplasty and Stark's Pond, and despite the geographical errors, like showing the school at one of the parts and the movie theater after that, I shrugged it off, believing there was some type of indirect joke Trey and Matt are notorious for, so I decided to continue watching it. But then, after 5-minute mark, the loop buildings started to mix away at random. And the new buildings began to appear as if they were on cue, showing locations such as Raisins, Casa Bonita, though neither would appear until later seasons. I didn't know that at time, of course, but in hindsight, it's pretty weird. A door opening was suddenly heard in the background, followed by the sound of various people shouting, other sorts of commotion. The audio was too muffled and distorted, so I wasn't able to fully hear what they were saying, but it sounded too realistic to be an act. It sounded like a group of people yelling at a crying woman to stop. The people were begging not to do it as the crying woman warns them to back off and she'll take them with her. I was confused. The screaming and begging grew louder along the way during the animation itself revealed the background changing into more realistic details. The looping buildings began to deteriorate over time and appears to synchronize with the screaming. First, it showed signs of neglect, like boarded doors and broken windows, and the next superstructure showed discoloring away due to the age, and it continues to loop into worse conditions, and the last as the screaming grew louder and violent, all the way until the point where the famous landmarks are barely recognizable and falling apart. But Kenny, for some reason, didn't experience change at all, and not only that, he continued walking as if nothing was happening. Both the audio and animation lasted for about 5 minutes, during which the voices were getting clearer up until the end. So, several of the voices I heard, the voices I was able to identify and recognize, Trey and Matt, along with Isaac Hayes, telling the crying woman to think about her husband. Trey Parker and Matt Stone sounded genuine and afraid of their mindset. It didn't sound like a joke at all. It was too genuine for a prank by them. I heard Isaac telling her, "Please don't do it," before a silent for a while. At this point, the animation froze as if they were waiting for the woman to answer. Finally, the woman just barely muttered in a whisper, "I'm sorry," before a loud gunshot was heard, followed by a thud. Screams of help erupted, panics yelling for help, and crying before the animation cut to black. Several of silence had passed until the animation returned to Kenny walking again in a loop, and the background returned to normal as if nothing ever happened. One time, only this time, after minutes or two, Kenny stopped and turned around into the viewer's direction and walked towards me as the camera drew nearer and nearer until Kenny was close enough to his hooded face covered the screen. His staring eyes gave me shivers as Kenny continued to simply look at the camera's view as if he was watching me from my own TV, never blinking at all. As if he was under a trance, he continued to do so for 4 minutes before the screen cut to black and the credits quietly played. After images of Kenny's eyes lingering into the credits until it finally faded away to the Banff airplane logo, and the screen faded to black until another infomercial started playing as if nothing ever happened. I don't know if the events occurred to me that night with some kind of sick joke Trey and Matt played, but for people like me, for something more obvious, even as I type, I feel his eyes staring at me with a haunting, with some same haunting chill. The death was heard on an audio. The death that was heard on audio was ruled a suicide. I got shivers just reading that. I fucking love Kenny, dude. Like, I wish there was more of him without his hood on, because I think it would be so much better. There was this, getting off topic, there was this one episode where they were, where the women were doing, fecal transplants, and Kenny was being sick, and I heard his, like, voice for the first time, well, first time in a long while, of his, like, thinking, and I'm like, I want there to, like, I've seen Kenny without his hood on before. There's an episode where he's, like, in hell, where he's in hell and his hood's off, but there's not much I can do about camera. But I wish there was more of that. I also wish there were more of the goth kids. I know there's only like 2 episodes out of the whole season that have them in it, but anyways, that's fucking creepy. And I was going to do I was gonna do this last night, but I was like, it's 12 o'clock at night, and I would like to not scare myself into sleep. So yeah, yeah, that is basically it. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you love anime as much as I do, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up. Also, the bell so you make videos, which is every Wednesday. I'm finally back to making actual videos for this channel that are current and relevant, as it's January 3rd, 2020. But yeah, let's say it's today, Friday. It is. But yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you later.